Hello, back out for another wild camp, and it's been a long minute since I last said that. There's a story, I'll tell you the story in a little while. Yeah, so I am actually out, fully intending to camp wild, and I've even ventured away from my usual comfort zone of Kinder Scout, and I'm actually heading, well, I'm almost on Bleaklow. I've parked down in Old Glossop. I've got yellow slacks down behind me. I've just come up that incredibly steep path, and I'm heading up to Dog Rock. Yeah, so it's been a couple of years since I was last out. I'll explain in a bit, usual stuff. So tonight's plan, I'm going to higher shelf stones, and then I'm going to make a call, and I might go a little bit further along and head up to Bleaklow Stones, possibly. I'll see where I am for time. I'm not too bad. Ooh, sun's right behind me there. I'm not too bad for time at the minute. It's about 4:10. It's the 7th of October today, so sunset's at around about 6:30, I believe. So I've got a couple of hours. I'm not in any massive rush. And I've got to find somewhere to pitch my new tent. Yes, another new tent. And it's not an MLD Duomid in DCF. In fact, it's a far cry from an MLD Duomid in DCF. Again, there's a story. I'll explain. Right, well, I'm going to get my head down, because that first climb's absolutely killed me, and I've got a little bit further to go. So I'll come back to you in a little while. Back out on the peak. Been a while. So I'm come along the edge of Dowstone Clough, or Dowstone Clough, which is at the top of Yellow Slacks. Slight change of plan. I'm going to go straight over to Bleaklow Head and Bleaklow Stones. So this takes me across Shelf Moss and then pick up the path that goes to Bleaklow Head and beyond. This path is boggy as hell in places. I've already been up to my ankles in it once. It's all good fun. It's all good fun. Yeah, so it's a while since I've been out on the peak, and I've just stopped to get some water there and reminded of the peaty goodness. Yeah. I've just come past Wild Stones with the kissing rocks, although I don't think they're going to be showing up very well because the sun's setting right behind them, or starting to set. I'm a little bit behind time. I picked up an unmarked path, or a very less trodden path, along the side of Dowstone Clough, and the path sort of disappeared as I got onto shelf moss, and anybody who's been over shelf moss knows what that means. So yeah, I've been bog trotting for the last half hour, 40 minutes, zigzagging my way through some quite deep stuff. I did in fact. I had a look around at Wild Stones, but everywhere around there is really boggy. I'm just hoping that it's a bit drier over at Bleaklow Stones, where I'm aiming for. But time is now, let's have a look, 17:43. Sunsets at 6:30. So yeah, I need to get a wiggle on. So I shall come back to you, hopefully, when I found somewhere to put my tent. I think I found somewhere. There's that sort of rock there. It looks like some kind of sea creature. Some weird rock there. And then there's a nice little piece of flat grass just here. Right, sun's gone down. Well, yeah, 2 minutes ago, 6:32. So let's get this tent up before we lose the light. I shall come back to you in a sec. So the light fading fast, we're pitched. And there's my new temporary house, Wild Country Helm Compact 2. Like I say, it's a far cry from the MLD Geomid, but there is a reason, which I'll explain later. And you know what? It's a damn good little shelter, and I'm actually looking forward to spending my first night in it. So I've not got a bad little spot here. It's not perfectly even, but it'll do the job. So right, as you can probably tell, I'm a bit out of breath. It's been a bit of a slog that last hour or so. So I'm going to tighten this up a little bit, get inside and get sorted out. Back in a bit. Well, certainly ready for that. Well, I'm in a tent on top of an hill. I think that's classed as wild camping, isn't it? Took a bit longer to get here than I expected. There's a little marked path along the side of that Dowstone Clough, or Dowstone Clough, I think it's called. And I followed it, and it was all going well, and then it kind of wasn't. It kind of disappeared as it came onto sort of what's it called, shelf moss. It just pretty much disappeared, and I followed what possibly was the remnants of the path. You know, maybe if people have sort of got so far and then turned back. And I followed that for so long, and then I was having to navigate off my phone, off a GPS, because there was just nothing. And of course, every time I had to go around a bog, I was up to me shins a couple of times. I was just going all over the shop, and it was a bit of a slog getting through there, but hey, we're through, we're here. And I'm sitting looking out over somewhere over there. I don't think it's Manchester. I've not been over here before. I've walked over here. I've camped not far away at Horse Stone Naze with Dean Reed many years ago. Dean and I came in from the other end. We came across Featherbed, funny enough, bog trotting again, across Featherbed Moss, Marjorie Hill, that sort of way, and ended up camping at Horse Stone Naze. But that was years ago, and that was over the side. I've walked over here a couple of times, but not for a very, very long time. So I'm a bit sort of out of my comfort zone, really, which is kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that God, I'm parched. I wanted to make sure that I had a bit of a challenge tonight. I'll explain more in a bit. Right, I've got the airbed up. I've just used my Flextail 2X or X2, whatever it's called. What's it called? The Mini? I don't know. Flextail 2X. Oh, thanks Flextail, by the way. I thought I'll buy the little diffuser thing, which on the pictures is just a globe that you push over. And the one they sent me is supposed to look like a flame. Looks like a little sort of Casper ghost or something. So yeah, thanks for that Flextail. It's a nice little feature to add to my tent. But that thing's amazing. Thermarest went up in no time. Yeah, it's great. Good little gadget. And then obviously it'll have a decent tent lantern as well. It's good. So I'm going to get my wet footwear off and get into something a bit more comfortable. Get some dinner cooking. And I'll come back to you in a bit. Right, let's get some dinner on. Extract my cook pot out of this ever so tight bag. This is a stuff sack from Treadlight Gear from Paul, and way back when. And I think, if I remember rightly, when he made this, I asked him to make me one. And this is an Alp Kit Mai Tai 900 pot, and I think the dimensions are almost the same as the MSR Titan kettle, almost, but not quite. And that's why that's a little bit tight, because I'm pretty sure Paul made he gave me one that he made for a Titan kettle. And it fits, but it's very, very, very snug. God, yeah, I've had Lara a lot of years now. I'm going to move this lamp down to here. I think shed a bit of light on the subject. Hang on. Oh no, don't want to do that. That's it. Oh no, I can't. Hey, there we go. Right. Yeah, I'm just going to hang this, put this down somewhere. That's giving a bit more light. Is that any better? Yeah, I think so. Right. As always, trusty storming cone. I've got rid of me. I haven't got rid of it. I've still got it. My little measuring jug mug that I made years ago, wrapped up in bubble wrap. I've still got it, but I've kind of bought a collapsible mug. The vestibule on this Helm 2, it looks quite small. when you've got the door open, it seems like you've hardly got any space, but actually there's quite a lot of, it's deceptive, there is quite a lot of room there. But it's nowhere near as big as the old MLD Duomid. So there's a tale. I've mentioned this on a couple of videos. I've done a sort of not a review, but a first impressions, first look at the helm, and I did explain in that video. But let me get this set up, and I'll explain a bit more once this is up and running. There we go. Where's my burner? There. Where did I put that bag? I'm a little bit out of practice, so I'm kind of not. I'm not exactly flowing with my my workflow. There we go. Right, where's my fuel? Anybody else use just random like cosmetic bottles for alcohol? There she's going. Plop that in there, get that blooming. And we'll have some Peak District finest water in there, if I can find the bottle. Right, we've got some water now. Let's get that boiling. I'm thinking about getting one of those little fold-out tables, but make life a little bit easier, wouldn't it? Right. So while that's boiling, ready for me tea. Let's move that. And we'll have a bit of a chat, shall we? Hey. Right. So, where did I go? What happened to the Wild Camping reboot? I watched those videos back. Look, I've got my Rab Hut booties on. These are cool. They were on offer. I went in the Mountain Outfitters, the Rab shop last week, and they had a big basket full of them at the front by the till. I think they were only about £15 in the sale. I was like, I'll have a pair of those. Keep my toes warm. Anyway, right. So what happened? Well, that's nice. I mentioned in my Wild Camping reboot video when I was all excited and I was coming back and I was getting back wild camping again. The reason that I'd stopped before was because of anxiety, basically, and I don't know why. I still don't know why to this day. But it's safe to say anxiety got me, and as much as being out here, being outdoors, as we all know, helps if you've got any sort of problems with your noodle, as Hayes Outdoors would say. It does help being out here, and it's helped me a lot, and I do benefit from it. But for some reason, several years ago, it switched on me, and I couldn't get out. I couldn't bring myself to go out camping and stuff. I've explained all this before, and so I had to jack it in. 2 years ago, I suddenly got a pang. I wanted to go again, so I got all excited, bought some kit, bought me dream shelter, had 2 camps, and anxiety got me again, and I couldn't get out. And quite frankly, it's a right royal pain in the hoop. But I tried and I tried and I tried, and I just, no matter, every time I tried, it's hard to explain. If anybody's ever suffered with anxiety, you'll probably understand. But yeah, I couldn't bring myself to get out. And every time I went in the room where my gear cupboard is, I was looking at this MLD Duomid. I mean, you might have seen the video. That was my dream shelter. I have wanted one of those for years and years and years, and I got one. I had one night in it on Fairbrook Naze, and it was the best night camping I've ever had. It was amazing. I loved it. But every time I went to my gear room, I've got this massively expensive piece of fabric sitting there doing absolutely nothing. And make me think, right, I really need to try and get out camping. But then I couldn't bring myself to go camping. And then I was thinking about that hugely expensive piece of fabric that was in my gear cupboard and thinking, I can't justify just having all that money sitting there doing nothing. I didn't need the cash. It was just preying on my mind. So I made the decision to sell it 6 months or so ago. Instant regret. Wish I'd not sold it. As I watched the guy drive away from my house, I thought, well, I wish I'd not done that. And it was it wasn't a silly thing to do. It was the right thing to do at the time. It felt like the right thing to do. And it kind of was, because what happened was, with me thinking, oh, I wish I'd not sold that, it's got me thinking about wild camping again. So over the last couple of months, I've started showing an interest, and I've found myself watching YouTube again. You know, usual suspects, Paul Messner and Paul Hayes Outdoors, and Andy Beavers. And I said to my missus, like, I want to go wild camping again. And she says, you've just sold your bloody tent. I was like, yeah, I know. I'm going to have to buy another one, aren't I? But I didn't want to buy another Gucci shelter. I didn't want to spend another 700-800 quid on a shelter that potentially was going to end up sitting there doing the same thing. I need to be sure that I can do this on a regular basis. So I had to look around, spent my ages. I've done a little, like I say, first look on this tent, and if you watch that video, I'll explain in there. I'm 6'3". I can't just go and choose a recommended shelter. It doesn't work for me, because most of them I don't fit in. I've got to fussy around and find something that I actually fit in lengthways. But also I wanted something that does one size fits all, so I can come out tonight. The winds have been forecast quite low. It's gusting a bit out there now. I'm not bothered, because I know this will take it. If it does start blowing a hoolie, I know this will take it. There's plenty of videos out there showing one of these in full force. So that's what I've done. I just had to go out and get something that I bought it new. I think I paid 220 quid for it, something like that. Maybe 230. But I can justify that sitting in a cupboard and coming out once every 6 months when I get the urge. I don't feel that I need to be out every few weeks to get my money's worth out of it, if that makes sense. I can leave it in the cupboard conscience free. If I don't want to come out, I don't want to come out. So that's why I've ended up with this. If I start coming out regularly, then I'll probably end up. I'm already looking. I've got my eyes on all kinds of stuff. What I want to see, in all honesty, is, do I want to go back to a trekking pole tent, or I want to give this a fair old whack and see if I prefer an actual tent? Because I've got my eyes on things like the Abisko, what's it called? The Abisko Light, I think it's called, from Falraven, and the new Terra Nova laser compact all season. I've got my eyes on those, and I'm thinking, could I live with something like that? So I want to give this a good run before I go chucking money away. Or do I want to go back to another Duomid, or a Trail Star even, maybe? So anyway, more on the anxiety thing. So this is my first camp since Fairbrook Naze, and I've been dead excited, really excited. I couldn't wait to get out. I was going to come out last weekend, but winds were forecast to be ridiculous, so I sacked it off. Went for a walk around Sherwood Forest instead. Did a little video. It's on my channel if you want to look at it. And So I've been buzzing. I've been so excited about coming out. Got to this morning, time to come out, and I really, really struggled. I almost didn't come. I drove all the way over here. I've come up from Old Glossop, which is about an hour and a half from my house. I've driven up here, got parked, phoned my wife and said, I'm really not sure I can do it. She gave me, my missus is amazing, bless her, she's so good. She's not pressured me, but she's, kept me, give me a nudge in the right direction, shall we say. Cheers. And she's just like, look, you'll benefit. She goes, once you're out, you'll love it. Just get yourself out. And I was getting all stressed and I was getting all angsty and stuff before I came out. Parked the car, phoned her and said, I parked the car and I'm really not sure I want to do this. I do want to do it, but I'm not sure I can, sort of thing. So anyway, I just said, she, again, give me some encouragement. Get yourself out. You're there now. Go on. Disappear. Anyway, long shot is I've done it and I'm up here and now I feel okay at the minute. I feel great. I'm so glad that I'm here. This is the bizarre thing. Now that I'm here, I'm so happy. It's great to be back out. It is really good to be back on the hill again. I wish I'd got here an hour earlier so I could have at least, sort of enjoyed a bit of the last hour of daylight or something, so I could have a bit of a walk around and take some photographs. But I'm out. I'm on the hill. That's all that matters. So yeah, happy days. Happy days. Right. So that's my story. That's why I've ended up in a Helm 2 after not being out for over 2 years. But yeah, it's a decent little shelter this. I'm quite liking it. Right, listen, I'm going to get some food on because I'm really blooming hungry. Let's see what I've got. I think, actually, if I remember rightly, I've got a veritable smorgasbord of food. But my main meals, got some coffee, of course. My main meals, I brought two. I've got, I really like this, Adventure Food Expedition Breakfast. These are really good. Now, I've had these in my drawer since I last went out camping. And I've got a posh pork and beans, which is one of the very few fire pot meals that I actually like. The only snag is, it says best before 25th of February 2023. So it's a little bit beyond its best. But rather than just chuck it in the bin, I'm going to give it a go. But just in case it's absolutely foul and minging, I've also brought a pasta carbonara from Adventure Food. Do you know what? The way I feel now, I might eat that, even if it is a bit bad. I'll eat it. I may well have seconds. I am very, very hungry right now. So yeah, once this water's boiled, I shall get it poured in here, get some nose bag on, and I'll come back and have another chat with you about some kit in a bit. I didn't intend to do that, but I'm quite proud of myself for doing it. We'll have a chat about some kit in a bit. Cheers. So the decision to bring a backup for the Aldi posh pork and beans was a good decision. Put that down there, might do a bit more. Yeah, it was minging. It was hanging. It tasted like it was burnt. It was just, oh God, it was vile. I mean, it was made with Peak District fine peaty water, but no, it didn't taste right, that. I had 2 spoonfuls. I was like, oh no, this doesn't taste good. So that's shelved down there, waiting to return to the bin tomorrow when I get home. And the Adventure Foods pasta carbonara stood in its place and did a grand fine job. It was quite nice, actually. It was quite nice. So yeah, that's dinner sorted. But yeah, don't try and eat fire pot meals that are 8 months out of date. It doesn't work. Woof, it was vile. Anyway, so yes, I'm fed. The wind's quite blustery at the minute. It's forecast to calm through the night. I mean, it's not like horrific, but there's quite a few gusts coming through. So I'm just wondering when it's going to back off, because I think it was forecast to calm down at about, mind you, what time is it? About 10 o'clock. So talk about some kit, shall we? Well, I haven't really bought a lot of new kit recently, other than the tent, obviously. And I bought some merino base layers, which I've been meaning to get for yonks. I was using these horrible, like cheap, got them from like not Go Outdoors, what's that place called? Sports Direct or somewhere years ago, these cheap polyester base layer things. They were too small for us, but I just kept going, oh, well, I can't, I'll manage. So no, I finally pulled the plug and got myself a full merino leggings and a top. I got them from the 4-class ones from Decathlon, actually. They were about, I think the two of them, jacket, jumper and trousers cost, I think it was 85 quid for the pair. It's quite good. And they're really comfortable, dead comfortable, really, really warm, nice. And the big ticket things, the last time I went camping, two years ago, I mentioned that I mentioned that I had the quilt on order, which is the Cumulus Taiga 360. This was ordered and it came probably a few days, a week after I'd had my last camp. But I've never used it. It's just sat in its sack for 2 years. But yeah, this feels really good. This was a recommendation from Dan Cloud, I think, and a couple of others. It's a hammock quilt, so it's got like a foot box. Sorry, I can hear. I think I can hear somebody shouting. There was some kids, looked like they were camping further over Bleaklow towards Wayne Stones, around that area, I think, maybe a bit further on. They were looking for somewhere to camp, I think, with their Asda carrier bags as I came up. And I can hear some shouting coming from over there, so I'm guessing, in that direction, so I'm guessing it's them. As long as they stay over there, they'll never find us over here anyway. So I've got the quilt, and I also mentioned, I think, at the time that I was looking to get a Thermarest X-Therm, which I've got. I bought it then, and it's again been sat in the cupboard for 2 years. I'm sitting on it now, and people say, the people had said in the past, that you could feel the heat radiating back at you through it. Bloody hell, they're not wrong. It's amazing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a night on that. Although, having said that, it might not be as comfortable as I was expecting, because my Trekology pillow seems to have sprung a leak, so that keeps going down on me, deflating on me. So yeah, I might have to deploy the down jacket or something to work as a pillow. But other than that, I don't think there's any real big ticket items. The GoPro as well that I'm filming this on, I've just bought that as well. I had all these plans, I was going to do all this stuff, I bought all this kit and then never used it. So everything's coming out of the cupboard and finally getting used now. So I'm not really happy with this GoPro. Like, it's crashed on us twice today, I think. I'm thinking I might swap this out, maybe get a proper vlogging camera, if I'm going to keep coming. That's the thing, I've got to keep coming. Because if I'm not going to keep coming, there's no point. I feel all right at the minute, I feel good. I'm glad I came out. But I need to do it again, and again, and again, and just keep the momentum going. So yeah, happy days. I don't think I'll be long before I go to sleep, actually. I'm absolutely knackered. So I'm going to kick back. We've got half a can of beer left. I'm going to finish that and listen to a couple of podcasts, and then I'll probably turn in. So unless anything major happens, I will speak to you in the morning, hopefully with the predicted or forecast clear skies and beauty. I think sunrise is at 7:30, so I shall set an alarm. Catch you later, guys. I'm out on the hill, I'm camping, I'm excited. Catch you later, cheers. So good morning. Got my breakfast on the go. Thought I'd have an al fresco one this morning. So, clagged out. Sun rises over there somewhere half an hour ago. Really good night. It was still windy up until about 1 o'clock. I think I woke up at 1 o'clock. And it was still gusting quite heavily then at times. But then I was awake for a little while, and by the time I went to sleep again, it had calmed right down. It was flat calm. It's been still all night. I've woken up a few times, it's just been total silence, which is absolutely lovely. So it's about 7:45 now. I'm a bit late, but I'm not in any massive rush. So yeah, it's been a good night. That little tent, that little helm's been good. I mean, I fit in it, which is a good start. But no, it's a decent little. I mean, I can sit up fully in it. I can lie down fully in it, which is great for somebody my size. And it's really warm as well. I mean, that Thermarest and Cumulus Taiaga quilt combo is fantastic, by the way. It's the first time I've used that, but God, that's lovely. So comfortable. It would have been even more comfortable if your flipping pillow hadn't deflated, but hey. But yeah, I mean, the tent itself is really warm because it's all fabric inner, apart from the top half of the doors being mesh. But even then, as soon as you open the door, I reached into the back vestibule to get something on my rucksack. As soon as you open the door, you can feel the draft coming in. So that inner does a really good job of keeping the warm in. So yeah, it's been a really good night. It's been a really good night. I would have liked a sunset this morning, but hey, can't have it all. I'm just glad I'm here. I'm glad I pushed myself to get out. I'm glad my missus pushed me to get out, because I reckon without her, I probably would have bottled it yesterday. And I don't know why. I still don't know why. I am so happy here now. I really don't know why I'm having problems pushing myself to get out. It's bizarre. Who knows what goes on inside these noggins. There you go. I'm a little bit concerned I might have lost some footage, or lost some audio on some of the footage. I went to turn my wireless mic off. Oh, incidentally, I'm using the GoPro Hero 10 Black, which I also bought after my last wild camp, and I was set for, like, I'm going to make the best videos in the world. But I literally switched it off, switched it on, and put it back in the cupboard. And it's sat there for 2 years until last week when I've dug it out. And I bought this Synco G2 wireless mic as well. And I went to turn the mics off last night. And as I tried to turn it off, and then I looked at the screen and it said mute. Now, I'm really hoping that's just because the mute button is the off button, and I'm really hoping it's just because I fumbled the off button, because otherwise a lot of what I was talking to the camera about yesterday might never be heard. So fingers crossed. I'll have to have a check of that when I get back. I'm going to try and up my game on the editing and stuff. You might have noticed I've done a few camera walk-bys and all that kind of stuff, which I used to try and avoid because I just thought, well, what's the point? But the more I look at it, the more I enjoy watching people doing that in their videos. It just adds to the story, and it's nice, and it just seems like the right thing to do. It just means you put a few extra steps on your journey, doesn't it? Running backwards and forwards for the camera, but yeah, I like it. It's good. So I'm just trying to up the editing and stuff. How well I'll do on that, I don't know, but I'm going to have a go. I'm going to switch from Premiere Pro to DaVinci Resolve, I think, because it looks a little bit more user-friendly for daft lads like me. So I'll have a go. Anyway, water is almost boiling. I've got an Expedition Adventurer's breakfast and a cereal bar and a few other bits to munch on. So I'm going to enjoy this in this wonderful scenery. And then I'll get packed up and get tabbing. So yeah, catch you in a bit. Right, all packed up, and as always, no trace left at all. I've just had a bit of a wander around the rocks, actually, just a little bit of a gentle explore, and I haven't found any litter, which is really, really good. So I'm going to head back to the path that I came along yesterday, back towards Bleaklow Head, and then I'm going to go, I think that's where I'm going. I need to check my route again. And then I'm going to go down to towards sort of Higher Shelf Stones way. I may go over to Higher Shelf Stones in the crash site, I don't know. I'll see what time I've got when I get there, and then I'm going to head on down to, is it Old Woman, and then down the various cloughs, and I think I finish up on Doctor's Gate back into Old Glossop. So yeah, I've got a bit of walking ahead. Like I say, I might call into the crash site and higher shelf stones, or I may save it for another time, considering the weather, because it's not the most dynamic of conditions for photographs and stuff. We'll see. I'll make a call once I get along the path a bit. So right, it's been a good night. Let's hope we have a good walk back. Catch you in a bit. So I'm at the overexposed B29 crash site. It's a long time since I've been over here. Strange place to be. Anyway, more importantly, as I was leaving Bleaklow Stones, I got a message from somebody saying, "Are you at the Stones?" So are we. So after about 10 years of talking to him through Twitter and Facebook and various other means, I finally met up with Mr. Beavers, which was a nice little surprise. So yeah, that's cheered me Sunday up with Andy as well. So yeah, we've come across higher shelf stones and onto the crash site. So yeah, it's made a nice change to the day, and I think we're going to go a slightly different way back. I'm going to tag along with Andy and go a different way back than I'd planned. So yeah, it's nice. But yeah, strange place coming up here. We were just saying, like, when you come up you automatically want to talk a bit quieter. It's kind of strange. Definitely worth the trip up, but again, leave no trace. Right, in a bit. So, back of the car. I haven't done any recording coming down. We've just been chatting. Like I say, it's the first time I met Andy. In like 10 years of knowing him through sort of Facebook and Twitter and whatever. And it was just pure chance. Just got a message as I was leaving. Turns out they were camped at Bleaklow Stones as well last night, and we're probably only a stone's throw away. We hadn't even realised. So yeah, it was nice just to finally get to meet up, and we've had a bit of well, just been chatting all the way down really with David, and yeah, it's been a lovely walk back. It's been really, really nice, to be honest. And I've come a different way. I wasn't going to come the way we've come. I was going to go over like Doctor's Gate down that way, but we've actually come down over the crash site and higher shelf stones, and then gone down to, I think it's called James's Thorn, something like that, where there's another crash site down there, and then just dropped down into the valley off of there. It's been a cracking walk, hellish steep coming down, but really good. Yeah, it's been a really good trip. I'm buzzing now, absolutely buzzing. I was already in a good place, I had already enjoyed it, but just it's topped it off getting the hook up with those two coming back down. Like, it was nice to have a bit of company on the walk back. It's been great, been really good. So yeah, it's been an interesting. Sorted myself out. I think I'm back in the zone now, and hopefully I can continue to do some more. So right now I'm going to neck this, and I'm going to head for home. I think I've got about an hour and a half back to Sherwood Forest. I might have to stop for a Starbucks or a Costa or something on the way, maybe. Right, I shall hopefully see you all again on another wild camp very soon. Meanwhile, thanks very much for watching, always appreciated, and I'll try and keep some content flowing on the channel this time. Fingers crossed.